Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good afternoon, or even good night, depending on where we are, based on how was your week. Another one week in terms of volatility, right? We had the perfect ending with finally the yen pairs moving, another intervention from the Bank of Japan, and we saw dollar yen and the other yen pairs moving maybe 500 pips or something like that in a few hours. Aside from that, we also had some movements on the dollar index and on the indices as well. However, not like it looks like price was just ranging. It didn't really create any momentum in the market particularly. However, we did had some movements, and we had a strong closing yesterday. Personally, I didn't trade that much. I ended up doing positive, but I didn't really open that many trades. I've been busy, so didn't really had much time to take the trades I wish I could have had. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, guys. So the way it goes is today we are going to do I'm going to do my weekly analysis for the week ahead. So if you feel free to ask me any questions about any specific asset that you want me to take a look at, or any levels that maybe you think it's going to be interesting to see, maybe an opportunity from a specific level. Yeah, so feel free to comment, feel free to ask me in the comment section to have a conversation with me, interactive one. So yeah, usually I start with dollar index because for me it's important, and it tells a lot of the story that you can see on the major FX pairs and how the correlation that goes with it. And then we go through the indices, usually S&P and NASDAQ, maybe a little bit of DAX, and then we go to the major FX and we finish with Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that's how it usually goes. So let's get started. So where were we last week? Where were we? So we had that move during the CPI data. I mentioned that for me personally, I think I could see dollar index. To consider this range where we are in at this point, from that high to this low, I think I could consider the dollar index to go further down and eventually break these lows, even before breaking these highs. So that's what I could see, mainly because I could see these lows in here as an engulf down, and I still kind of like how price has been moving around here. And even though yesterday we had a little bit of a higher high comparing with this one, we took that high. However, we haven't still reached this final level in there. There's maybe something somewhere in there that price has been reacting to, but we haven't really reached this kind of supply level at the highs. I mentioned that part last week after the CPI data, that yes, it was okay to take this high during the CPI. However, I could still see dollar index going a little bit higher to maybe get closer to this level before moving down. We did move closer to this level, even took this high, but we never really still touch it. So it's interesting to see that at least this level, it's still fresh. It's going to be something to consider in the future. And regardless of that, at this point, again, another engulf down on the way up. This is one of the reasons that I was still looking for more downside on the dollar, especially last week we paused in here, and then we woke up. Nice reaction in there, but this is for me already an engulf to downside, another one of these lows. It was a good reaction from this level of support resistance, so it was a nice zone for price to bounce and go upwards to find maybe more sellers before moving to the downside. But this for me was an engulf to the downside. I think I mentioned that last Tuesday. Then yes, again, I would have preferred to see dollar index getting closer to that level and not just stopped where it did. I haven't really investigated inside here to see if there's anything in there that actually has been forcing price or just been made price be respected and push price down. However, as a general idea, I do like what I'm seeing in terms of most likely more downside now on the dollar, and targeting this low in here could be, I believe, a really good option. There's a chance for price this Monday again, as I've been mentioning a few times actually, about the Monday pattern that I like to see. Especially I like to see that happening after such a strong Friday, and indeed we had a really strong Friday momentum to the downside, especially in the during the US session. So yes, I wouldn't be surprised if we on Monday if we open and if we continue to move into the same direction as last Friday, so to the downside on the dollar, so weaker dollar. There's maybe potential retest of this level for price to maybe go retest and continue. I do have this trend line in here, just as a reference. I don't really trade trend lines, but just as a reference to see that since August 10, there's already one touch, almost the second touch, and now basically touching it already. A little bit of rejection first. Eventually I think it's going to be broken. So yeah, I could see maybe price respecting something in here. I personally, I don't even think that we're going to have such a deep retrace towards this level. Maybe you have, even if you do, I think I'll be looking for sells in there, or for weaker dollar. Don't really trade dollar index. When I mean by sells, I'll be looking maybe for some zones to go long on the euro, pound, Aussie, and so on, and maybe sells on the dollar CAD. At this point, I'm not even including dollar yen in terms of the correlation with dollar index, because dollar yen is just doing its own thing. It has been doing that for the last few weeks, and let's see now how it's going to behave after this intervention yesterday. So yes, Monday to continue to move to the downside. I think that will be some option. There's maybe some zones in here where price can kind of touch and bounce a little bit. However, I think eventually we're going to see dollar to continue to move to the downside and maybe reach at least this low. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do eventually break this low in here. So yeah, overall nice PA. Even the break of this low in here on approach that we had last Thursday. Thursday price went down really fast and then it reversed straight away, and then it just continued last yesterday, and then it just moved like this. Even this one can be even considered a small engulf down. We have this compression here, we even have this move down in here, taking that one and then the reverse. So nice move on the dollar index overall, and I could see price continue to go down. Let's see if we do create that momentum. So we have been ranging a little bit these last couple of weeks within just this level. I think we may be finally seeing some momentum in here, the downside. However, don't forget, I'm still aware of this level, but because this may be enough for now to push price down, this moving here. But I'm still aware of price may want to go a little bit higher, even in the future. I don't know when, but in the future, I could still see dollar index. So this level, for example, could be left behind literally for the future, which would mean price now actually goes down. Let's pretend that now dollar actually is going to go all the way to the downside. I don't know until where, but let's pretend it does that. One second. And what we would see is eventually when price comes back in the future. Second. When price comes back in the future, 1 month from now, 2 months from now, whenever that is, maybe this level now that is still fresh, I'm going to expect maybe some kind of good reaction from there. However, the only thing that maybe price is going to do is just react from that level towards to the next demand zone that it is in here, and that's it. That's maybe everything that's going to happen there. There's maybe still opportunities to sell in there. However, the expected target to look for when price comes back and react from this level, it may be just a small reaction. It will depend as well where this low in here is going to be reacting to on the left side. If it reacts from a valid level, maybe from a good target, most likely then price may just go use this level first, price retest this whatever demand it's going to be in here, or some previous level of support that was being created, just touch that level and just continue, breaks this high, and it actually can now use this level on the opposite side. What it was initially maybe a good zone to look for a sell, that it was not respected as much as we wanted, now it's actually going to be used as a long. Maybe now using this previous level of support in there, of resistance, use it as a support and you are good to go. And you see this happening way too many times, that sometimes this kind of origin that is created in here is left behind, so price doesn't touch it, which in the moment that it's been created, so price doesn't touch in here at this particular time. Now price is going to actually go all the way down. If you are looking for sales in here, you're going to be frustrated because it didn't get filled. Price goes down, makes out the move that it wants to, and then in the future, be cautious a little bit. Usually, the first time touch that price does in here, there's still some kind of reaction. However, the target is going to be just the next level of structure. Don't expect now for price to go all the way here. But it will depend, as I mentioned, where this flow is reacting to on the left side and all the rest of the story that you can see. Even with the approach as well, a good approach, maybe that can be a good sign that maybe you're going to have a good reaction or not. So pay attention to the approach as well. Yeah, it's just you can find plenty of examples like this in the future. Actually, there's maybe this one in here, just like in here. Right? Let's pretend something like this happening. We have this level of support of resistance in here. These highs maybe didn't really touch the extreme of this supply that has been created in here. And in an initial phase, maybe price could have done this and touched that level, but it didn't. Now it doesn't even look like. Maybe if I go to the lower time frame, maybe on 1 hour time frame, there's actually a touch there. Actually, let's do that. Why not? Maybe price actually just broke out the level. Maybe just broke out the level straight away. Yeah, in this case, maybe it completely broke it. There's not even a small reaction in there. But as you can see, what in theory could have been a good zone to look for a sell at the highs, because this level kind of is still fresh. Price didn't really touch it on the way down. Yeah, somewhere in there. What it used, it could have been a good level to look for a sell. It's not. Price actually eventually breaks it, and it's going to become a really nice zone actually to look now for a long in there. So that's actually good, a good zone, good example in there. Yep. And again, the next level, this level of resistance in here, now it becomes a really nice zone to look for a zone as well, because actually these lows never really got closer to the demand in there, and so on and so forth. And this is how price moves. Yeah, but this is the dollar index, so I think you could see a little bit more downside. Actually, the move that I was saying that I would like to see on the 4-hour time frame, it looks like it has been already done on the lower time frame. Apparently, price had already retested that level of support resistance within this level, so maybe that's done already. Maybe there's still now something in here that can hold price and move down, but the retest of this level in here, that's done. As you can see, that's already over, so it may got a little bit weaker. So let's see how price is going to open on Monday. Eventually, I wouldn't be surprised if we do continue to move to the downside. Maybe retesting this level first, but eventually targeting this level for sure. I think we may see price going all the way there during Monday session, breaking this wall somewhere in here, getting really close to it. So that's our index. Yeah, let's move on. S&P. All right, so again, S&P and NASDAQ has been really interesting, to be honest. Just 1 second, guys. Drinking my morning coffee. So S&P and NASDAQ. In terms of levels, again, do you know the correlation that there is between them? Almost 100%. However, it's about the level sometimes where they respect to, right? This particular case, yeah, it's not visible in here. I would need kind of to go to the MT4 to show it, because at least on the MT4 where that I use, this low, maybe that's actually there. Yeah, on the one that I use on NASDAQ, at least I saw that this low had broken this low on the left side, so that for me was an engulf down. And maybe in here you can see it as well. Somewhere in there is a small engulf down, which means that for me this is an engulf to downside and price want to go down. This is NASDAQ. What you can also see is on NASDAQ, price hasn't reached this supply yet. On the S&P, price is already somewhere in here. So these highs in here are already reacting from somewhere in there, and yeah, that's where it is. Another level that I was looking for, kind of as a target for this move down on the NASDAQ, it would be kind of the supply level in here. Not supply, demand zone, kind of in there. In reality, it reached this level in here, and it's actually reacting from something in there. You can check it on 1 time frame. There's a small demand in there. However, in this case, NASDAQ never reacted from this demand. However, S&P actually reacted from this demand, from the demand that was created there. Hi Kiran, Fatima, you talk about gold. If it can cross 1,700, I'll take a gold in a bit. I'll take a gold in a second, and then I'll check gold. I saw that gold that respected the previous low, and let's see what's going to happen. What's going to happen next? But yes, so again, S&P and NASDAQ. S&P actually reacted from this demand zone, not NASDAQ. So looking at both of them and kind of trading them, like picking and choosing which one is actually reacting from a good zone in order to look for the execution, I think it would be kind of quite interesting to do in terms of the correlation and looking at both of them. They both go up and down almost at the same time. However, they can actually be reacting from a little bit different zones, and based on that, you can actually pick and choose which one you would like to be trading. This for me, it was that would be this one was a really good confirmation in terms of the engulf down on the NASDAQ, expecting price to go further down. Is actually one of the best setups that I try to look for in terms of trend continuation. We have a new break of a low in here. There's still space for price to go further down, and we have this level of previous support and resistance with a fresh supply in there. That is a really good zone to look for a re-entry to continue until we kind of reach the next level. This price when broke these lows again for one more time, it didn't really reach anything in particular. So that could have been a good level. In this case, expecting price to go higher. Mostly this high didn't really react still this supply level, so maybe I could see that happening. Apparently just broke this trend line again. I have in here, don't really trade it, but maybe can be used as a trend continuation setup in there. But yeah, it was really nice in there. Actually, all the price action that we can see within this level, it's amazing. Inside here, right? So this is, if you study out the PA with confirmation, this will broke that one. This is kind of a quasi-model inside this level that you can see from the left shoulder, the header, the lower low, and then the retest of the here on the right shoulder in here, and the move down. So there are a few trades that can be taken within this level and with confirmation. And this is the S&P. Yeah, you see, that's what I meant. The S&P actually did react from these demands on the 1 hour time frame, right? So NASDAQ paused a little bit. S&P in this case, we didn't really have the break of this low as an engulf down. We could see that on the NASDAQ, and as I mentioned before, S&P has already kind of reacted from this supply first, but they already broke it, and maybe seeing a continuation to the upside wouldn't be a surprise eventually to go somewhere there. So yeah, nice reaction. Again, the correlation between the pairs, that's what I wanted to mention, and at which level are they being respected. So for me, I would definitely keep an eye on both of them when I'm trading them. I don't really trade the indices. I do analyze them quite often on a daily basis. So I could use the same example that I'm using here. I could use it for dollar index and euro, maybe pound dollar and euro pound, and so on and so forth. So there you're going to find some specific assets and pairs that are strongly correlated, even reversed or in the same direction, and you can use that information to pick and choose the right timings to look for an entry, and use the information that you collect from one asset to the other one. Yeah, so the indices, if by any chance I'm expecting a weaker dollar for next week, or if I'm expecting dollar to go and retest maybe that low that I mentioned, most likely we are going to see the indices going upwards. In terms of fundamentals and the Fed, nothing has really changed. However, we are in an earnings season at this point, and as we had it the Q2, we saw the rally around mid-June, July. It was mostly due to the earnings as well. Maybe you're going to see the same example in here on the indices. Another potential rally to the upside during this earnings season. Targeting these highs in here, it will be interesting to see somewhere close to that level. I think that could be an option. But let's see how it's going to react from where in there. So that's S&P and the NASDAQ. The DAX, it respected that level. It broke it. It actually broke it. So I could see this one as an engulf to the upside already. Hey Tobu, my friend. Of course, I will take a look at it. I will take a look at the Euro index just before I go back to the major FX pairs. Did he got any trade yesterday in the afternoon? Yeah, the DAX, I can see it already as an engulf up from that level. So maybe continuation to the upside. It's an option. I did mention DAX during last live stream on Tuesday about this level in here as a potential continuation to the upside. I noticed that usually when I explain that specific setup that I like to look for, I even have a short on my YouTube channel about that one, the breakout setup, something like that. I'm not a big fan of the second high. I wanted to see the setup happening when you have this. We already have a break of a high, then a second one, and that's it. And then I would like to see this happening of the fake out. In this case, we actually even have this third high in here, and that was not a big fan of it. However, that high, I actually noticed that's the one that broke this previous high in here. So this is for me as an engulf to the upside. So price for me wants to go higher. Now question mark is from where. At this point it's reacted from here. Maybe that will be enough. This supply in here is still fresh in there. So at this point we could see even some reaction from that level. even if this happens, could be still an option. And price actually going a little bit further down here. I'm not sure if there's anything in particular around this level that could be the reason for price to stop in there. But yeah, maybe even could see something like this could happen. But if price doesn't even retrace, if price just continues to go higher at this point, maybe now I went with the US indices, that could be also an option. But one thing that I noticed is price broke this high. I'm expecting more upside moves on the DAX. From where, we'll see. And as you can see, this point in here, it was touched already a few times and aligned with this support resistance level, which is something that you can always keep an eye on in here. This last move, after you finally break this high in here, there's another retest aligned with this level that price used to go upwards. Just keep an eye on this important level of support resistance, because usually as price is moving in between, there's always some touch in there that can originate a really good trade, either to the upside or to the downside. Something that you for sure can use it. So now, before I go to the major effects, I will take a look at let's take a look at the other indices. So here we go. So this for me, as I've been mentioning, that was an engulf to the upside. So I wanted to see Euro index to move upwards. So when we broke this high, come on, man. Right, so when he broke this high in here, this for me was an engulf to the upside. Question mark, it will be then from where, right? So we had this fresh demand zone, price went up, price didn't broke it in there, decided to go further down. And something that is usually a good place to go to is kind of whatever low created this move to the upside, price usually can go and fake out that low before going. So you could even consider that price has been moving like this, move up, move down, and then the move up. So this could have been that low that was faked out, or prescribed another zone, could be for sure out the retest all the way back to the lows before moving to the downside, or it could be just a small fake out and continue. In this case, price decided to go all the way there, and at this point we had created a new higher high in here. I'm not sure, and personally I don't think we have reached the final destination of this. I'm still looking towards this support and resistance level in there for price to go to. And again, if I do see dollar index going lower, maybe you can see euro dollar going upwards, which can be a good influence for this euro pair to go to the upside. However, this euro index, sometimes I don't see it as correlated with euro dollar, but with the euro, not so correlated with euro dollar, but correlated with the other euro pairs. So we have euro Aussie, euro yen, euro pound, for example, and so on and so forth. So that can also have a big influence on the direction of this euro index. For example, this move down on the euro yen yesterday for sure had some influence in here as well on this drop that we could see in here after the fake out of this high. Maybe that was one of the reasons for the broke it, right? Yeah, broke it by a little bit. Yeah, maybe that could be one of the reasons, because on the other hand we are seeing euro going upwards at this point. What we have in here as well is that we did broke this level, and I could see price maybe retesting this level even before going higher. So yeah, somewhere in there, or this demand zone could be a good zone maybe for price to retest and continue to go upwards. But that's something to keep an eye on as well. So yes, overall the euro pairs I'm expecting a little bit more strength. I think I haven't seen the calendar, but I think next week's going to be a little bit busier. This week there wasn't that many big red news or high or important news, more outside of the specific market, right? With all that has been happening in the UK, that's one of the stories with the pound. Yes. So Euro index, I could see a little bit more move to the upside, and there you go, right? You can see what happened in here with the yen index, right? Yesterday, after that intervention, once again, with the Bank of Japan buying yens. Yeah, strong move up, retesting of maybe this level of support resistance, and then continue to go higher. That's an option. Price in this case actually broke this level. Last time you had that intervention, it was somewhere in here. The price moved upwards, retest the next level of support resistance in there, really nice level, touch it and move down, and there you go. That level of previous support was taken already with this spike. So everything that we have been seeing on the dollar yen during this week, it was just going upwards. But anytime there was a small spike, a good spike down, it was just to clean the demand and just go. Move up, spike down, clean the demand, and resume to the upside. So that's the behavior that we had on dollar yen for these last few days until yesterday. Basically, all the demands have been taken. Oh my god, I'm being spun now. Yeah, all the demands have been taken on dollar yen, so no surprise that eventually we could have this big reaction. For example, I think I did that, if not last week, if not this Tuesday, the week even before. I think when he broke the higher high, I did this. I think I did this with you guys during the stream. So this is the dollar yen that I did on this chart particularly is on the 14th, so it has been 8 days ago of important zones that I will be looking for price maybe to have some reaction. So after we did break that high on the after we broke that high from 98, these were the zones where I was looking for. So initially the high from 98 was reacting from this level. I had this line in here as a reference, maybe to see some bounce on the yen. I did had this kind of a little bit of a supply in there as well, maybe it's to see some reaction, but then one that I was looking for, it's exactly this one aligned with this left shoulder and this little supply in there that you can see above this high. So I wanted to see this spike in here, I wanted to see this guy being taken, and it actually was really nice aligned with this left shoulder. And this is exactly where dollar yen reacted from. So my line is kind of 151.843 and price went to maybe 151.8 something. Like it's still within this line here. Don't forget, I can only go to or check this level on the daily time frame, so I cannot really be that precise. Aside from that, if we do by any chance go back to the upside, and if we break this high that it was just created yesterday, some other zones could be somewhere in there, and my favorite, as I mentioned, is going to be eventually this 156 something. If by any chance price goes there, taking this high it will be amazing, and I'll be expecting another kind of 500 pips move or even more from there, right? So at this point, yeah, we did took this high here, dollar yen, and we reacted within this level. So that's that little zone in there on the daily that was still fresh, and we had a big reaction. Price also had a good reaction from this level, not so much in here. Price to literally just continue to go upwards. And this was not exactly my favorite. I wanted to see price taking this high in there. So let's take a look now. Actually, I can see it in here because I cannot really go much lower. Yeah, so this is the dollar yen. Yeah, you can see this is the high that I wanted to be faked out in this cover, and my zone was 151.843 and price reacted from 151.941. Right, still within that level. Was really good reaction, as you saw. To confirm it. I wouldn't be taking trades on dollar yen at this point. I was actually upset by not taking the trade on the euro yen, because on the euro yen it was a specific level that I've been talking about that usually originates really good reactions, really big moves, and price was, again, it just faked out one specific high that I had in there. It didn't touch the supply, and that was my concern. So as you can see, price just reacted within this week, fake out this high, and that's where it reacted from. So that's kind of the zone. If I was about to draw a level in there, it would definitely cover the top of this week until the other one, and that would be kind of something like this what I'll be looking for. Eventually price can maybe just continue eventually and can go a little bit upwards, and this level can be really interesting as well. This 15391 something. So this is the dollar yen. We can see how big of a reaction we had yesterday, and we may have entered into this compression. I think we talked about that level, to be honest, last maybe two weeks ago, when I did that example of the demand zone on the higher time frame, but then if you go into the lower time frame, the story may be a little bit different. Maybe there was already some touches in there on the lower time frame, and the zone may not be that fresh anymore. I think I was talking about this demand in this case, aligned with this with the previous high that was created during that first intervention. Yeah, somewhere in there. So that could be kind of a natural. And as I mentioned, in terms of the spikes, I would check that on the MT4, just more clear. But yeah, anytime price was going up, it was leaving some demands in there, then just big spike, take the demand, and then just continues, cleaning everything in here until eventually it just fills the zone. But yeah, maybe on the lower time frame there was a good entry in there. But personally, I was not looking for trades on dollar yen. Maybe there could be a really nice entry somewhere in there. So let's take a look at these guys. Yeah, did you guys try to trade dollar yen yesterday during these big moves? Any yen pairs that you guys try to take advantage of? Getting some water. So since I was already talking about dollar yen, let's talk about the yen pairs. So yeah, that was the move to the upside. As you can see, basically on the way up, so just taking the demand zones. Every single demand has been taken. This was actually maybe an engulf down. Another touch, we break it, touch, continue to go higher, take the last one, and then eventually just breaks through. This spike in here had already kind of cleaned that one. Yep, goes, and this is kind of one of the one good demand zone in there, and this was the other one that I mentioned that on the lower time frame it maybe touched already. So eventually maybe seeing dollar yen to go at least till this level wouldn't be a surprise. So let's see until where this dollar yen is going to. For now, targeting this guy to be neutral, and we do have this imbalance in here, right? So we had this move down, and now from here upwards, there's a good imbalance in there that was natural for price to go and kind of touch it, and now it's going to make a decision. Either breaks within this next level of compression, and most likely are going to be targeting maybe this low, or maybe a little bit of a reaction. Actually, the reaction has been happening already, so maybe going to resume eventually the move to the downside. Yeah, it was a massive drop. It was a massive drop, and to be expected, right? So eventually that would happen. The way price was going up, eventually that would have happened. Checking the lower time frame. Yeah, did price touch this level? Yeah, in here. This could have been a great entry. Or at least after price touching here, and maybe it breaks this low, I think that would have been a great entry with confirmation. We have kind of this supply level in there. Price goes down from there, breaks this low as well. Yeah, that's a clean supply in there. And after we break this demand, that it's one of the closer demand that created this high. If you do break that one, maybe you're opening doors to go further down, so you can literally look for a short in there. Yeah, I think you could have done that. Yeah, that's in terms of PA confirmation, that would have been this one. I don't know if it would be possible to enter or not, closer to the extreme. Nice approach in compression with this trend line. As soon as you break this trend line, there you go. That was a big move to downsides. Yeah, it would be hard. With your strategy, I'm not sure if you'd have managed to catch this. Not really sure. I do like the confirmation in there, as I mentioned before, within this, within here. In here, it would have been hard. It would be the kind of either place, maybe a sell stop in there to try to catch it. Otherwise, it would be hard to trade it. At least if you like to enter close to the extreme, and as maybe after seeing the break of these two lows, of all these lows, maybe could have just tried retest and go. Maybe could have been an option. Yeah, the one that I'm more upset in, that kind of I had the level identified, but in this case I was actually looking for a trade, or I was aware of a potential trade in there. It was the euro yen. So I did got this trade on the euro yen yesterday, from here to there. I got this trade in here in the morning after the fake out of all these highs. Price was reacting from a nice fresh demand zone on the left side. 1 second. Yeah, price was reacting from this level, this small level in there, above all these highs as well. So that's why I looked for the sell, and this is what you can see in the regards of the level, right? So I was aware of this left shoulder, of that level at the extreme. However, this was another one. So we have all these highs in here that I wanted to see be faked out, and on this, in this small line in here, that's actually where price reacted from, the highs. So I wanted price a little bit higher to get closer to this level, but price just just pause in there. I don't know if I can go there into 30 minutes. No, I cannot. So maximum I could go, it was on 1 hour, and that's what I could see on 1 hour, because that's exactly where price reacted from. So we fake out that high that you had in there, you can see the big reaction, right? Yeah, and I've been mentioning these particular levels quite a few times. So 1 second, we go back where we are. Yeah, so it's something like this. So that during one of the live streams I already mentioned this particular zone, which is super important, and it can originate, and usually originates, a really strong reaction. As you can see, we have this higher high. We are looking at the daily at this time, so you want to see this happening on the higher time frames, daily, weekly. For sure you can see this all these highs on the weekly time frame as well, kind of maybe just as a week in there, and that week needs to be faked out. So we have all these highs, we have basically 1, 2, 3, 4 days in there, almost creating highs at the same level of structure, at the same level, and none of them went there to took the orders above it. So this level, which is usually created after in this case the higher high has been created, so we have the higher high. Second, we get the higher high, price goes down, goes until wherever it wants to go, and then retraces, and now there you go. It's anything above this retracement in the future. So price can stay here. Now in this case it's created kind of those three triple top in there. This is lagging. Yeah, back to that part in there, and then it dropped. And in the future, there's going to be some zone in there, maybe on the lower time frame, just above it, that is still fresh, maybe on the 4-hour time frame now, you don't really see it on the daily, and that's exactly where it wants to go. It reacts there, and now it can create a really massive reaction, because we are talking about higher time frame zones in here. So yeah, that's a really good zone to look for a setup, and you can see the reaction. Natural target, in this case I was actually making fun with Faden of levels of to see euro yen reacting from as it was going down, like zones to touch, react, and then maybe eventually break it. Yeah, I was making fun with him of just predicting levels, and I did mention this level, this 1448. It's not this one, it's 144084, I believe. 082 or 084, which was the reaction from this previous level of support, of resistance in here, that now most likely is going to become a support, and there is a fresh demand in there. So yeah, I was making fun with him. I was not really trading at this point, just let price at this point stabilize, and then after that I will try to look for setups. But when price is moving just like that, I don't really need to be taking counter trend trades at this point. Yeah, so this was dollar yen, this was euro yen, and that's maybe some good confirmation in the lower time frame to take the trade. The approach was really good. I like the approach towards the level. I noticed the fake out, but if I do have a supply level just above it, I usually kind of wait for it to go there instead of just trying to trade straight away just fake out of the high. But yeah, more often than not, actually, I do these turns happen without price actually getting to the next level. Price just fake out the high, and then just kind of turns. Because I do like the approach. You can see all this compression going up. Even managed to break this demand before we even get there, and as soon as we break this wall in here, now everything like all the scale of the chart is kind of messed up because of this big move down comparing with the small candles on the approach. But as soon as we break this this low, or even if you want to be more conservative, as soon as you break this low, you can start looking for the sell. Yeah. And this was a nice compression here. For sure, you can even maybe draw some kind of trend line on the way up to give you guidance as well. Yeah, what I should have done is exactly that. Just follow the trend line. As soon as it breaks the high, as soon as then we have the break of something to the downside, just execute the trade. Yeah, well, I didn't do that, so I did miss all that. What's next for the yen pairs? That's a good question. That's a good question. I want to see them stabilize at this point. There's the potential to go retest a little bit more to the highs. On the euro yen, I kind of, as you can see, all right, retest of this previous level of support resistance. In here, that will be a natural zone to look for. Retesting this level. There's a chance that eventually, if price wants to go further down, it will take this low and maybe going a little bit further down. The level where it's reacting at this point, I would say that is really good. So I could see price eventually going all the way down. Maybe even taking this double low in there, going further down, somewhere in there. That could be one option. In terms of where to look for shorts, if price does want to go there, maybe somewhere in here. Could be eventually. We do have now this double top in there, and we have this level. So just look for zones where price starts to create some kind of liquidity, and that could be a good zone maybe to above that level. Maybe it could be a good level to look for a trade. So let's see what's going to happen with these yen pairs. They are active now. They are active. And we had similar moves on the other yen pairs as well. Right? So the same zone that I just mentioned now where euro yen reacted from. If you check where this Aussie yen reacted from, just go compare where this high reacted, and you'll see that's a quite similar zone in here. Just fake out of that guy. It's one of the first retracements after we create the high, and just in there beautifully. And usually it's also aligned with a good left shoulder on the left. So yeah, so let's see now as well what's going to happen in this one. We never broke this low, so careful with that one. There's no break of a low in there. Price now just reacted from that level. Let's see. I could see maybe a little bit more. Oh, this one actually makes more sense in here. Interesting. Interesting. Because something that has happened with these yen pairs is they're also correlated. Like for example, this Aussie yen, this week at least it has been moving a little bit correlated with the Aussie dollar. Of course, this massive move down that occurred now, it was just controlled by the yen side of it, and not the Aussie. And if I do see maybe Aussie going upwards, which we'll talk about that in a bit, and I do see that may happening, maybe we're going to see a little bit more move to the upside on this Aussie yen, which I wouldn't be surprised. This level may be interesting where price has been reacting from. However, I could see maybe price going a little bit higher. I do like where this wall reacted from, so it's a nice reaction there. We just broke this important level of structure. We broke it initially from this level. And yeah, is this enough? Is this the final zone? Or price wants to go a little bit higher? That's kind of the question. Yeah, we broke this low now, because as you can see, this low never really reacted from this demand. But I think this second low now it's reacted. At least it touched this level in here. on the Aussie yen. It's going to be interesting to see. It's a little bit in the middle. I could see price going a little bit higher. I could see price going a little bit lower. Let's see at this point, at least on this Aussie yen. On the Aussie dollar, I think I'm biased to the upside at this point. And take a look at the pound yen. Let's just finish with these yen pairs. So we went all the way up. We fake out these highs in here since a few months back. And we have somewhere in here. I think I could see more upside in there. I don't know if this is the zone where it's going to stop or if price is eventually going to go upwards. It's a nice zone to fake out, of course. We have all these highs, so that's one, but I think eventually we are going to resume the move to the upside in there. Yeah, maybe could have traded. There's even maybe a good KM in there with this fake out in here. Just maybe a broken in this one. Maybe something in here can be a good reaction, even though this one already broke that one. Yeah, something in there. Let's see. Maybe some room to downside first, and then maybe resume the move to the upside. This pound yen. And let's go back to the euro dollar. So the same way that I was a little bit biased to the downside on the dollar index, I was biased to the upside on the euro. Now I actually like this one initially to maybe see it as a continuation from here, continue to go upwards. We did had that reaction during this week. However, price still managed to actually react from something in here and go down. And in this case, we even in here. I don't like, maybe on the lower time frame there's something in there. This one can be seen maybe as an engulf to downside for the future. I could see maybe that happening. However, I'm not really sure if on my bias last week, it was actually, I'm not really sure if this triple top in here, it's the level where price is going to from there resume and break new lows. It could hold for a moment, but I'm expecting new highs on the euro. Not even this triple top in there, but also where it's kind of reacting in here on the left side. So I personally expect more highs on new highs on the euro. So move to the upside. Eventually, even take this take all of this. Comparing euro with the pound, pound has already reacted from these highs created on the 5th of October, 4th of October, and euro is still literally in the middle of the range. So that's where euro is. This one in here could be seen as an engulf down as well, because we did break that low in there. So let's see. Expecting more moves, more upside moves on the euro. I noticed that we didn't really take this level in here yesterday. This level, we had a lot of touches in there of this level of support, of resistance. However, this low just took this low and never really reacted from there. Eventually, this could be some kind of touch and go. And let's see. I'm expecting these highs to be taken. In the same way that I'm expecting maybe dollar index to open and during the Monday session to go down, kind of I'm expecting that to happen on the euro, and eventually I could see continuation to move to the upside and finishing by taking these highs by Tuesday or by end of Monday session and getting closer to this level. And if we do get closer to this level, then we'll see. Then we'll see what the euro is going to do, getting closer to the parity. And this would also reinforce the move to the upside on the euro index. So that's my bias on the euro. There has been a lot of touches in between here, so I'm not really sure where to look for an opportunity. However, as I know, what I'll be looking for is maybe some ranging situation during the Asian session. Then hopefully we see the strong move upwards, some reversal in between in the morning session, and then maybe the continuation closer to the US Open, around US Open. Then you have the continuation to the upside, and price just continues, and then starting losing momentum, and then on Tuesday we'll see what's going to happen. That's what I'll be looking for. A particular zone that maybe price can bounce from for that middle retrace within the London session. Maybe there's something in here that price can touch, reverse a little bit, then eventually resume. For example, we could resume by retesting this previous level of resistance, no support, and we could move from there. That's definitely my game plan for Monday, so let's see. Pound respected this little zone in here, right? It's a KM zone actually. If you consider this small low in here, this left shoulder, we have the fake out, crash to main level, and price decides to respect it in a good way, massive way actually. You can see after that our price exploded to the upside. So how this move in here, if you did break below that level, this could be kind of a little bit compressed, and maybe price would go closer to this level, maybe looking for something in here, but yet we respected it at this point. How this move on the way down, it was actually kind of compressed already. We even took this level first, price went down, respected the next level, and just continue to go higher. Let's see what's next in here. Move down in here, so let's see. Getting closer to these highs could be an option. Are you going to take this high? If you do take this high, getting a little bit then closer to the next level in here could be a complete option. So as you can see, this high is the one that created all this move down, kind of the origin of that move. So there's a chance that price maybe still respect this level. However, we did respect something on the left side from here without breaking it, which does we open any space to the downside in there at this point. For me, a little bit concerned, or more conservative on the way price is going to react around here. So let's see. We could see price going a little bit upwards. This is what you can see on the daily time frame. Not much there. The price on the way down has been taking every supply, right? As it was down, it retraced, it created this move in there, took the supply from there, and it go down. The next supply, looking at this 4-hour time frame, it would be maybe this level that is still fresh. So if you do break this high, there's a chance for price to maybe just resume upwards. It may respect this level first, after taking this high, could go down, respect this level, and then continue to go higher, or it's just going to continue to go higher without even the retrace to downside. So yeah, so let's see, there's maybe even a little bit above that level in here, something that price could go to. Now looking at the bigger picture, considering still this sign here and all this level in there, this one respected the support resistance. We covered all this move in here like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. However, we did break this low, and we never really reacted from the next one. Just reacted from the support resistance in there. So this low here it may be considered as an engulf down, and expecting price to go lower from this size could be an option. Got there. There's not exactly an engulf down, so yeah, cautious with that one. Cautious. I'll be paying attention to the approach as price is eventually getting closer to this level. That's the way I'm looking at it. So are you going to have more move to the upside as well on the pound on Monday? How correlated price is? We'll see. Yeah. Eventually taking this size, I think that would be an option. Looking for sales. Looking for sales above this high until there, it can be a little bit tricky. There's maybe something in here that we could use just as a fake out, as we fake out this high. Maybe there's something in there fresh that we could use for price to go down. But then maybe resume the move to the upside would be an option until we finally take this high in there, and we get closer to that level. So that would be, if you do break this high, I could see this kind of 30 pips range that needs to be filled, and eventually even break this high above it. That's my take on the euro, on the pound, euro GBP. Yeah, I like this level. I opened a short in there from here to here, and that was just it. I could actually have held it longer because all this was compressed, and the target below this also would be a natural zone. I would have liked to see price going a little bit closer to somewhere in here before continuing to go higher. This may be considered just as an engulf down, to be honest. As price is going up, this may be considered as an engulf down. There's maybe something in here still to maybe look for a reaction. Let's see. The reaction from here also, it was nice. That, as you can see, it was still fresh. Where price reacted in here. All this compression here. Quite strong. So let's see what's next. If the euro pound is going to continue to go further down, maybe as pound is going up until it gets closer to this level or eventually this level. Yeah, and eventually price could even resume and actually get closer to this level in here or somewhere in there to maybe resume to move to the downside. Yeah, from this amount, is this enough? Actually, this is kind of aligned with this previous support resistance that created all these lows in there. Let's see. There could be an option of price bouncing in between some good levels, ups and downs, before even resuming the move down. As price is going up at this point, it's going in a good compression way. So price has been going like this. Now it's compressing all the way here. Already broke that low in there. There's maybe something underneath that price can definitely react from. Another compression, and price may still continue to move like that until maybe a final turn occurs. Let's see. Let's see what's going to happen in here on the euro pound. I could see more move to the upside. Aussie. Yeah, Aussie is one of the pairs that kind of got me upset. because I didn't realize what was going on in time. And the PA was there, the confirmations, they were there. So I was aware of this engulf up. I had mentioned that. Question mark is, are we going to respect this level and go up from there, or are we going to, there's a chance of still faking out this low, and then yes, and then maybe going upwards. We did respect it level. In this case, there's still this fresh supply zone at the origin. Price decided to respect it. Then we did break this low, so it actually opened space in here, and now we kind of start playing in between different scales, between engulfs in different scales, right? So you do have maybe this white scale, which is the bigger one, which is the one that we have this engulf down, engulf up. So eventually, as we see this low being respected, I'm expecting at this point for price to break the highs first before breaking these lows in terms of the white scale. But all of a sudden we start having different ones, because now we have this range in here, the red one, and you have that one that respects this extreme, and now we have this engulf down. And all of a sudden I'm kind of looking for price to actually break this low first and maybe reach this level before actually breaking this high. So now I actually want to see price going down first before actually going upwards and fulfill the white engulf. And that's kind of what happened. So we break this level. I'm looking for price to fill the space somewhere in here, and eventually that happens. Price even decides to go a little bit further down and respect something in here. There was kind of some KM in there, whatever. And what level stays behind and fresh is exactly this demand zone, right? It's somewhere in here. You can even drag from this low. It's with this level in here, right? So that level stays behind because this low didn't really got there. We actually broke into this compression until this low, somewhere below that low, to be a good zone to go to. But what price does first? Price goes up. It finally fulfills this. It finally goes above the engulf of the white one. So that's done. The white one is completed. Price actually has this important level of support resistance on the left side, which it kind of reacts somewhere in there, I believe so. Yeah, it just reacts somewhere from this supply level. Really nice reaction. We do break above it, so we managed now to break above, and now it kind of, this opens a new scale. Let me do it in yellow now. So we now go from these lows and this one, and now we have a proper engulf to the upside again in here, because now we actually have 1, 2, 3, kind of, this is a triple top zone that in reality there's already an engulf up on the white one, but now you kind of can see it as this level of structure. We have an engulf up, and what I mentioned before, I don't remember now which pair I was talking about. When you have an engulf to the upside, a good zone for price to go to is actually to go to the low that created that engulf. That it's kind of the low in control that originated the break of that level. So you can see that price has been moving from that low to this high. So something that price usually does is going all the way down. It actually fakes out this low, especially if this low is not reacting from something important on the left side. Then it looks like a little bit in the middle, the demand was underneath it, and there you go. And now it takes that level and it just goes upwards. So engulf up, back out of the low, just to then continue to go to the upside. And you see this happening quite often. Yeah, it could be maybe somewhere in there, or it actually could retrace all the way in there. So in terms of confirmations and so on, Aussie has been playing a really interesting game within this range. study the price action that you can see in here, study what confirmations and engulfs, fake outs and so on price is giving you along the way. That opens a little bit of space of door towards the next level, and which door is actually more important in terms of scales, right? You could consider that as a, imagine as a building, right? Maybe your house. The engulf here now, it's maybe your living room or your room or whatever. That may be price. You just open the door of your room. You want to go into the living room. So somewhere in here is the living room. This is your house, and then this is maybe your full your building, the building where you live. To go eventually to go outside. So different scales of what is doing. Like you're opening different doors, showing indication that what you want to go next. Between go from your room to the living room to go outside already, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So what's next on the Aussie? Most likely, I would like to see. I think Aussie is ready to go upwards from here. After such a strong move in there. Actually, this may be an interesting level on the daily. But after such building momentum at these lows, I personally actually would be surprised if all of a sudden price would just now correct completely all this move and go down. I think price is ready to... It's created enough good base at this level to actually sustain it and go a little bit upwards. Until where? We'll see. Maybe retesting this highs, eventually even taking this highs. We'll see where we are going to. If dollar index actually is about to continue to go down, as I mentioned, I think we could definitely see more strength on the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, in terms of fundamentals, is actually the one that has already reduced how much of a hike they have been doing. I don't remember now if the last one was 25 or it was 50, or they were expecting 50 and they did it just by 25. But there was already not so aggressive approach in Australia in terms of the interest rates. So that could be a little bit of an effect as well. We'll see. So maybe upwards moving here until where we will see. Maybe retesting this level can be something interesting. Eventually, even breaking that high. But at least retesting this high could be something to look for, and in here make a decision to either respect it or maybe break it. The same thing with the Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie has been one that has been moving to the upside. It's kind of compressing, but it's been quite aggressively moving upwards. And now it created all this pause in there, and it may go a little bit to the downside, which can reinforce as well the move to the upside on the Aussie, even though sometimes they are not as correlated as maybe before. Yeah, it's actually a nice zone. You can see all these highs in here that it faked out. It's actually a nice level. Eventually, I think there's maybe more room to the upside on the Aussie, on this Euro Aussie pair. Correction now, maybe somewhere in there, maybe filling all this space now that we broke this low, and then from there even maybe take these lows, respect this level, and resume the move to the upside. So let's see if there's a correction on the Euro Aussie. Yen is covered. Dollar CAD as well. It's another one, quite interesting. I was bearish. I was looking for the downside. All this triple top in here, it made me a little bit confused when it was happening during the week. When I saw actually this low being broken, I was not exactly expecting such a reversal straight away. I got caught on that one. I was expecting more kind of continuation in that moment. Then you realize that all of them, all the pairs basically were reversing at the same time. So okay, it makes complete sense for me. Like the way they kind of build up all this triple top in there, still made it look like it's being respected one more time. And look just where it reacted to, right? We have this left shoulder, we have the head as well. It's kind of a big EM zone in there, and we actually have this fresh supply created in there. Break that level. These highs never reacted from there, so there's literally that space in there, and that's actually a beautiful zone. Yeah. Yep. And something actually Hayden had mentioned that level. He didn't really took it because it was, and it's something that I have been suffering from that as well, which is when price actually is kind of approaching the level, it's in there. In the moment when you're looking for the trade, you are trying to get as the best risk reward possible when you're building up, when you're looking for the execution. And we are fighting kind of for a better, like 1 or 2, 3 pips, kind of just to have maybe a stop loss below 10 pips or something like that, like maybe 8 pips, whatever. They are fighting, I mean, waiting for price to give us 2 more pips, and all of a sudden price just moves, and it actually moves 200 pips away. So we literally kind of miss 200 pips move because we were expecting, or we wanted 2 pips less for our stop loss, which it looks like ridiculous after the fact, right? I've been there way too many times. I know. How does that feel? And I wish I could say that I will not make that mistake again. I believe I will do that again. But yeah, it's just because in the moment maybe you are looking at it, you are not maybe aware of all the potential of the move, so we are stuck at falling price in there without all the, literally the way we are approaching maybe the price at that particular moment. We are not seeing how that is possible, or how the distance that price may wants to move. Maybe we are just looking for price to maybe respect this level and maybe go upwards, and that's why we are trying to fight for a better entry in here, for 1 or 2 pips of a better entry that maybe is going to give us a little bit more of a risk reward. But all of a sudden price just moves a lot in the favor that we wanted, and we are not in because we are literally trying to get the 2 pips better entry than entering straight away where price was. Yeah, now that I'm looking at the approach as well, like it was a really nice approach already. Break of a low on the way up, as I mentioned a few times. That's exactly what I want to see as price is going up. Again, it took that one. I don't even know if it touched that demand, but it starts taking some lows on the way up, right? Compressing, takes some lows, go up again, creates new highs in here, but still goes down and breaks this new low. So breaking lows on the way up, it's a great confirmation that we are eventually, when price gets to its level, it's about actually to reverse. Just look left, try to find out where actually is that good level, because that's amazing. Again, kind of we created this low in here, price goes up. I don't even know if it managed to break a new high in there, but then instead of just price continuing, it actually goes down, breaks this new low. It's actually a nice reaction from there, from this demand zone that kind of broke out this previous level of support resistance. So there you go, that level of support resistance has been taken even in here. And then what you want to see also is a fast move up after breaking these lows and so on, a fast move up. So it scares a little bit a few people of looking for entries because they just see the fast move up. And yeah, all this was actually a really nice approach and potential setup. And looking left again, As I mentioned, that small engulf on the way down. Actually, really nice zone to look for it. And now in here, I landed this left shoulder. Really nice one. And there's maybe even something in here on the lower time frame that if you look at it, there's maybe in there some kind of support resistance. Maybe it could find just the same way that we have it in here. They are usually aligned. So yeah, this is our card. I was bearish already last week. Again, all the manipulation that is created during the week is just incredible. Until price eventually goes to the extremes of the zones. So it can spend a lot of time in the middle, as you noticed, spend maybe 2, 3, 4 days in there, and all of a sudden it just spends kind of 1 hour to make that move away from the zone and then to completely reverse. Yeah, most of us, we may spend a lot of time fighting in between here instead of focusing more on the extremes. So in here, as you can see, price goes up, down, up, down, up, down. It may create frustration, or if you like to trade ranges, maybe that's the best setup for you. It may create a lot of frustration in here, but if you actually just start looking for the extremes, I believe that's more relaxed way to. It requires patience, but it's if you are correct, you're going to see the price will move quite fast from your level. What's next? I think price will continue to move down. This level in here has been respected in there. There's maybe something here for expecting, but I could see price maybe going a little bit lower, maybe close to this level. So let's see what's going to happen in here on our card. There's maybe some reaction here to have at the base of this level. Let's see. That one has been respected. Yeah. Let's see what's going to happen next. But I could see price going a little bit further down. Literally close by breaking this low. Is there anything here in between that you can look for? As price was going down, it was actually retracing quite nicely. Something in there. There's maybe something in here to look for, maybe potential trend continuation setup. Even something in there if price by any chance opens to the downside and leaves this level fresh. I could see price then. Let's pretend that during the Asian session price now starts moving away. Then maybe during the London price can go there and maybe resume to the downside. That could be something to look for. Price is moving down. It's almost taken. Took this last one. There's maybe some zone in there to look for. Took that one already. Something in there. Yeah, let's see. And this move to downside will kind of be in alignment with the weaker dollar as well. Euro, dollar franc Swiss. Dollar franc Swiss, yeah, it has been breaking those highs. That was already happened last week. And it looked like it was being respecting that level of support until just now this last spike. I think I already had this one for a while. So price just touched this supply in there. But this base in here. Aligned with the low that created this high. That's a really nice zone. Above these highs once more. It's actually a really nice reaction from there. And we could see maybe price going further down from here. We have all these highs to create liquidity. We have them being kind of respected still in here. Now we have the turn. If we do break below these lows, I think we may be ready for a massive move down on the dollar franc Swiss, maybe even going back to this level. So historically, as you can see, anytime that dollar franc Swiss goes closer to these levels, above 101, something like that, eventually it just goes down. It may spend a little bit of time, but you can see how big reactions price kind of does anytime it gets closer to those levels. Eventually it goes down. Oh. Yeah, so let's see what's next. If you do break below these lows, I think there's room to go further down. There's maybe some reaction to have from here and so on. This was another one that we have been predicted quite nicely for the last few months, since even price retested that level. I target this level in here. I had this call made months ago, even when price was going down. I was looking for the short in there. I target this level in here for potential final target from this highs, and now this is a good reaction from there. Let's see if we do break that level. Eventually we can use almost the same line that we have in here. For sure there's a high probability that eventually there's going to be some kind of opportunity to sell aligned with that line. Price will just create some kind of structure in there, aligned with this line that I have in here, right? There's maybe already this small supply in there. There's maybe something above that price goes first, and then eventually create something in there, and eventually you can find a short in there. This is still fresh. Price can still retrace all the way back there. So let's see. This is what time frame. This 5 minutes. Is this already broken? No, it didn't. Yeah, that's what I'll be looking for. So there's a potential for a big turn in here on the dollar franc Swiss. Maybe I'm targeting this one in here, doing all this compression. That's what I'll be looking for. Gold that someone had mentioned before. 1700. 100. Yeah. When I saw these highs in here on gold being respected the way they were, I would be concerned of looking for maybe longs in there. However, if you actually pay attention to the way this was created, so we had this low, the spike low, and then we had the other demand. So this is a complete fresh demand that you can see, and there's maybe even some KMs on in there, right? So this is beautiful. We have all this accumulation of lows and price just studies. So that's one of the best kind of demands that you want to see being created at the lows. Even been touched in there. Yeah, we have all this accumulation. We have the fast move down and then fast move up. In reality, it may have been touched already. This was around the Bank of England kind of intervention, and yeah, maybe that one in there. There's even this small gap in there. So this is a nice reaction. Okay, so that was fresh. Fair enough. Fair enough for gold in there. The way it was moving down, it's good to see this low as well to create some liquidity. Okay, price goes down. I didn't really trade gold. I could see price going upwards now. Maybe this compression. Second. That's how it finished, right? Yeah. 1,700. I want to see. I believe price can go and eventually go above this size. There is maybe some supply. There's something maybe fresh above this size. I would like to see. Maybe this is compressed already. Maybe I could consider that like that. I think these highs in here already took the supplies from there, so I could see that that happening. Keep an eye on this one for maybe for future zone to look for price to bounce from, and above here there's maybe something to look for. some reaction to the downside. Yep, something in there. Something in here. This one looks like it has been touched already. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, if I'm expecting dollar weakness, gold has been inverse correlated with the dollar. So maybe we're going to see gold going up. It makes sense for me at this point to feel this compression. As soon as it gets here, let's see what's going to happen. However, this may looks like already a double top. However, do have this double top first. There could be exactly some reaction from there. Maybe something in here as well if price doesn't reach that level. Could be on scenario, even break this high first, react from something in there, and now actually react from something in here, and then go upwards. So 1700, particularly 1700 doesn't really tell me anything. We do have this level of support resistance. I'm more looking for this highs and this level. So yeah, next level for gold for me to be is 1677, and in reality this level that I'm mentioning, it's actually the previous level of support that we have in here for all these, since all these years, right? Maybe something aligned with that level, which actually as this fresh supply level could be, yeah, it just reinforces that I actually like this level for a bounce, at least, like for a potential trade intraday setup. I think there's something in there to be looking for. Yeah, we have all these highs in here, we have all these left shoulders fake out, and it's also aligned with these previous levels important support resistance. So when I mentioned before that it's sometimes interesting and good to keep those lines on your chart, because if you do have now something created that is in alignment with this with that level, that could originate a good setup. And we have it at this point. We have this level top, kind of have a fresh supply, so maybe some reaction from there could be an opportunity for intraday. How big of a move it's going to be, I have no idea at this point. At this point, what I see is that we respected the lows. Price is going up. I don't really see any engulf down at this point, at least on this 30 minutes time frame. I start seeing some compression, but no engulf down, and let's see how price will approach that level. Let's see. So that was gold. Bitcoin, right? So let's take a look at a little bit of crypto. So BTC, it's still within this range. Within this range, there were still maybe some good opportunities. Price it reacted from this supply level, and kind of all the way back to here. Another supply level that was created after that supply level has been respected. There's maybe now something in here that price may still go to. But maybe something above that supply level that is still refresh. We have this compression down. This level in here kind of it's touched now. We had this spike down. No idea where it reacted from. I personally haven't been looking at crypto since while it's inside this range. I'm not going to be spending that much time looking at crypto. I'm more focused on other assets. I don't really trade crypto that much, almost never, and at this point I'm not just interested at all in this. Yeah, another range, maybe some opportunities close to these highs. What I can see in here is just price likes to trade the extremes. So there's maybe even this demand zone underneath the low that has been created. Maybe there's some reaction to have from there. I think it's an alignment with these lows in here. So eventually to take this low and maybe bounce from there once again could be an option. This is the supply level that kind of price is respecting now. So let's see what Bitcoin is going to do. Ethereum is doing the same thing. Ethereum in this case, it's even kind of respecting a little bit closer that high, and I don't know if the supply has been taken or not. So there's a chance even to fake out this double top, take that one, and let's see what's next with respect to that one. We talked about that like 3 weeks ago, beginning of the month. Yes, that demand level. This may be an engulf down. Is it? Maybe. There may be something in there as well eventually for price to go to. Price now is creating some other demands in here that price can touch and continue. If you do break this high until we reach this level, we do have still that fresh supply. All this may be compressed, so eventually we'll see. Still range for sure. If you are trading the 5 minutes 15 minutes time frame, you can find some good opportunities up and down to look for, right? So for example, as price is respecting the sides, eventually kind of breaks this trend line in there, right? Retesting the supply could be one entry to look for. We had talked during the stream already about that level as well. It was a nice sell in there, so price likes to respect these clean levels of extreme supplies and demand zones. Yeah, not much bias on crypto, to be honest. Until the price moves completely away from this level, I don't really follow it. Personally, longer term, I believe crypto still wants to go a little bit lower, at least closer to this level, before any major move to the upside. I'll be looking for Ethereum to go a little bit lower, but let's see what's going to happen in there. Yeah, let's see. All right, I think that's it, guys. I think that makes it another weekly analysis. Feel free to comment if you are even watching the recording. Feel free to ask any questions. I will answer them. If you have any questions about any specific thing that I mentioned, or any way I'm looking at the market or something like that, feel free to ask as well. And maybe then on Tuesday during my next live stream, I can go into more detail about that specific topic that maybe you want me to explain differently. Yeah. Aside from that, I wish everyone a great. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you for being here with me, man. Enjoy your afternoon, and don't forget to do your own weekly analysis on the higher time frame. We have been improving a lot in that regard, so that aspect I'm proud of you, man. And yeah, I'm sure that you're going to continue to pick up some good trades and to keep growing. Yeah, so yeah, wishing everyone a great weekend. Last week, well, not last week, next week is going to be the last week of October, so we are 2 months away literally for the end of the year, right? So because then it's going to be literally in 2 months time. It's basically Christmas. Not many people trade during Christmas. The market loses liquidity, and it's always a little bit more risky to trade during Christmas, in Christmas and New Year's. So we are 2 months away literally. So it's time to make new plans, right? How strongly do you want to finish your year? start to make maybe some define some goals even for the next year. Either if you are positive or not for the year, like don't rush it. Stay consistent. Trading is a marathon, so not because you are going to smash it for the next 2 years, for the next 2 months, that you're going to become a heavy trader. Focus on your daily routines, on being consistent with your own process, because that's what's going to lead you to good results in the long term. Yeah, it's literally already. It's October, end of October. The time flies, as you know. So yeah, all right. Yeah, good. Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great beginning of the week. Thank you so much. See you next time. Obrigado.